So, I'd rather make a video than watch one right now. It's funny because I got back at 2 and it's now 7, and I've been in my home on my own, and I think it's probably helped to not have any TV or music. I've just been sitting here in the quiet. I mean, I did revise for about 4 hours. There's one bit I read, yeah, and I don't get it, but I don't think I need to get it, but the problem is, if I do get it, I might be able to write the formula. This is maths. Without having to remember it, because I remember how to actually construct the formula. So it might be quicker than, remembering the formula. Might be quicker to just try harder to understand the bit that they were talking about. I could be wrong. That might not be the purpose of what they were writing, but yeah. So, what do I talk about, Well, I completely fell apart yesterday. Completely and utterly psychotic. Completely and utterly. And what was to blame was probably my toxic thoughts. I don't know. I think that's a bit sort of, oh, it was all me, when really, I just needed a clonazepam, and it's fine. I only need to take one every now and then, really, which is pretty dope, because last time I had, this is 2 years ago, by the way, last time I had schizoaffective disorder. Actually, this is no schizoaffective disorder, this is something else. I've never felt like this before, I haven't. It's like it's a combination of two things. The stress of being trans with such toxic thoughts, people just set off the toxicity in me. Yeah, it just set off the toxicity in me. And I started hallucinating. The TV, there started to be like meanings in what was on the TV. Telling me to... Because I've learned to meditate, yeah. I've learned to look at my thoughts. I've discovered some of them are toxic. And I've been able to spot those when they come along. And then the next step was I realised that in difficult situations where all I'm having is toxic thoughts, it's okay to ignore them all. Ignore all the thoughts I'm having, Just push them away. Yeah, it's brand new to me. I've only been meditating for 3 days, and I did it for hours, though. I did it for hours, like each day. Not just like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 40 minutes, but like hours, you know. When I was out and about, you know, bopping around, just meditating away. So I learnt quite quick to spot like toxic thoughts and to not. All I had to say to myself, see, because I got triggered, yeah, and just kept having this recurring toxic thing going on, you know, recurring toxic thing for like hours, really. I mean, probably a couple of hours. Yeah. Toxic thing just going round and round and round. You know, and I remember Melanie Beckler from Ask Angels, she says when you're like, I just have to make up what she said because, you know, obviously I can't remember it verbatim, but like when you're stressed, right, she says when you're stressed, you can like, because of meditation, your meditation practice, this is pretty accurate actually. It says you can center yourself, you know, and I guess that's what I'm doing, you know. Yeah, I've gone through a complete change. This is very intimate, so you know, I've gone from feeling the flow of energy around my head to like push it one way to get angry, pull it another way to like be passive. It's probably unhealthy as fuck to be doing that, but probably unhealthy as fuck. But I've changed. The change began yesterday. Actually, I wanted to just push that energy, just keep pushing that energy, and like people got pissed off with me, you know. I had so many threats off people, but I was so determined just to release all the pent up, you know, anger that I have inside of me, you know, just by pushing on this energy. And I was so fucking determined, even when like I was getting people saying, you know, they were telling me, I mean, plenty of people told me, but I wouldn't listen, you know. I ended up with severe anxiety, so bad, right? I thought people were just gonna fucking rush into my flat and kill me, to be honest. Let's put that over there. Yeah. And that's like, because like there's not just toxic thought, but there's toxic energy as well. And for some reason, I thought it was good. They call it the Sedona method, to go into the energy, it's toxic energy, and I went as far into it as I was meditating all the while this was happening, but I was going as far into the toxic energy as I could because I felt like I was releasing it, you know, in order to release it. That's the Sedona method, and I think it worked actually. But I was so fucking determined just to keep pushing that energy, you know. I just ended up getting so fucking scared, you know. Because, like, I don't care. I don't care. So, at some point, I think what happened was, is I was so psychotic that, I mean, I was so anxious that I became deeply psychotic, and like the TV was giving me all these messages, you know, and all the sounds I was hearing were somehow messages, and the messages were telling me to calm down, just like everybody been saying, but I wouldn't listen, you know, which is really weird. And they're also telling me to take a clonazepam, which is weird because why would the messages, I don't get voices, I just get messages. Why would the messages, right, tell me to do the right thing? You know what I mean? I mean, that's pretty handy, isn't it, really? You know, the messages told me to do the right thing. Take a clonazepam, so I did. And, yeah. So after I took the clonazepam, I practiced just pushing away all thought. You know, because I took seriously what the messages that I'd got. This is probably sounding pretty hinky, but after all the messages that I got had been saying to calm down, I thought, right, that's when I realised, that's when I had the epiphany that there was another way to do it without messing around with the energy in my head. Because I was just so fucking sure that I didn't want to do it that way, you know. So fucking sure. So I managed to get out of that cycle and into a new cycle of just like when I get toxic thought, just ignore it, even if it's constant, you know, and there's no thought except toxic ones, you know, just to basically just to push all thought away, you know, which is what I'd been doing anyway, with the other method, because the effect of that is to push all thought away, and I thought that was where it was at, to be in a constant state of no thought, and I've been doing that for about a year, you know, but this way, I get to have thought, I get to look at those thoughts, I get to feel the energy of those thoughts, and if a thought has an energy of like, because I can recognise it now, of being toxic, it you know, those thoughts, they just fucking reek of toxicity. They really do. When you've looked at them coming and going, you know, you can, the ones that of toxicity, they fucking reek of toxicity, man. And so I mean, I can think, and just, which is new to me. I can think and I can just ignore the toxic ones and just I don't really follow them anyway, really. The toxic ones or the other ones, you know. I don't like get on a train of thought and start thinking. I don't do that. You know, I just kind of just watch them come and go. You know, one might be toxic, I'll say, oh, that's toxic. Another one might be a good thought, so I'll draw positive energy from the good thoughts. I'll just think, you know, it's just uplifting to feel that I'm thinking a good thought. You know, it's just uplifting and positive. So that'll fill me with happiness and positivity, you know, which is really good. And then the toxic thoughts, I'll just say, oh, that's a toxic one, you know, and just ignore it. You know, and try and pretend I never had it, really. Anyway, that's my video, so goodbye.